guys, welcome back to the channel. Alright, so today we are going to be doing some wheel cribs. One might ask, what are wheel cribs? Well, wheel cribs is a suspension method of putting the vehicle up on the wheels instead of lifting it with jack stands from the frame. In turn, what this does is it gives you more room underneath the car, a lot safer, and actually more cost efficient than sometimes jack stands. So jack stands can kind of get high. Definitely a better option over the Harbor Freight jack stands. If you use like Rhino ramps or whatever, that's cool too, but they don't get you high enough for certain applications. Applications like my Camaro, Project Sidechick, which is the 89 IROC, the GTO. Those cars are already low setting cars, so it's hard to get enough clearance, especially being a big guy that I am, underneath the car and work efficiently without feeling unsafe underneath the car. So we're going to get to it. We're going to show you what a wheel crib is and how to build it. Alright, let's get to it. Okay guys, these are wheel cribs. And as you can see, we got Project Sidechick fronts up on wheel cribs now. We got them dusty, tusty, no good, unsafe jack stands from under it. Which I wasn't going underneath the car for that anyway. Not with them. Especially not on the ground here. Maybe at the shop, but not here. Reason being this car is outside is because I gotta do a lot of pressure washing in this car. Underneath the bottom, everything. It's not that it's dirty. This car is garage kept. But normal wear and tear from 89, you have road grime, stuff like that. So to get this car up high enough and to be able to pressure wash it, we're making wheel cribs. Do some undercoating, painting, everything. We can do the wheel cribs. So, as you can see, this is a wheel crib. I've already got the wheels supported by it. And you're wondering, well man, how did you get it that high? As you can see, it's up pretty high. How did you get it that high? Basic jack. And I will explain my method of how you do that. Since I've already done it, I can't show you. But I will explain my method. It makes sense, guys. So I don't think I need to shoot how you do that. If you're pretty familiar with a jack, you know how to get clearance out of a jack to get it higher. But let's get to it. I'm going to show you how to make these things. You can go to Lowe's, Builder's Discount, anywhere, and get this wood. The philosophy behind the wheel cribs is they've been out for a while. The problem is I see no one in my area, Eastern North Carolina, really using wheel cribs, honestly. I haven't, and I go to a lot of shops. No one uses wheel cribs. They're all over the internet, so I'm bringing it to the guys who's on my channel from my area to show you how to build them. Very, very safe, especially on ground like this that you're working out. Everybody doesn't have a shop to work out of. I have a shop to work out of, but a lot of stuff I still do outside. I don't know why. It's just some things are easier, especially when they're dirty and nasty, and then when they get clean, I'll move them into the shop. But a lot of stuff I will still do outside, especially on a nice day like today. I like the breeze blowing, so I'll work on the stuff outside. And most of the time I keep a lot of my projects in the shop, so that's another reason too. But anyhow, show you guys how to build these. And then I'll give you a price breakdown about what it cost. And actually it's about the price of a set of jack stands, to be honest with you. A good set of jack stands. And that's pretty much it. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so here's our parts breakdown, or our tools that's needed. You don't have to be a carpenter. I am by no means a carpenter. I stick to mechanic work. Just put it that way. I'm not a carpenter. But I can make these. And you can too. So, first thing you need is a skill saw. You can use a table saw. Some form of way of cutting this wood. You need a tape measure. You need a box of screws. And you can actually go with some 3-inch and I will show you the reason why I would say 3-inch. But 3.5's work, and 3.5 does get you more penetration through the layers, and I'll explain that to you as we start to put these things together. But make sure you get about 2 pounds of these, guys. 1 pound won't work. I had to run back to the store, so make sure you get 2 pounds, or just buy the great big box for like 20 some bucks. But 2 pounds of these number 10s, 3.5 or 3-inch. I like the 3.5. You just get more penetration. So number 10s and a good drill. We got DeWalt here. You're gonna need a good drill, guys, and you will see the reason I say that. Or use an impact driver. I do have an impact driver, but my impact driver is not even as good as my DeWalt drill. So, and it's a Milwaukee, still a good impact driver, but it just still doesn't do the job like the drill does. But a good impact driver will make this job a lot easier. So, what do you need to make 2 sets of these? Which, let me grab this tape measure and I will show you how high they are. Now, you guys that's familiar with IROCs or any kind of Camaro, they sit low. They just always have low clearance. I mean, great performance stance, but sucks when you got to go underneath it and work. So, to get, let's see here, let's just say that's 12 inches. That's a foot. So some would say, why? That's not that high. I can get that high with jack stands. No, you can't. It's a different type of 12 inches. Jack stand from 12 inches is from the frame. Well, you almost have 7 to 8 inches, depending on what kind of tire you have on the car. You have that much difference in between the frame and the bottom of the tire. So essentially, when you support a car on these cribs, you're getting 6 to 8 more inches of clearance. And if you're doing anything where the jack stand is going to be in the way with wheel cribs, it's completely open underneath the bottom. So if you're pulling a transmission, exhaust work, any kind of welding work, these are great because I literally can roll underneath this car once I build the back ones, which we're about to do here in a second. I can roll all the way underneath this car and feel completely safe. I don't feel like this thing's going to fall over me at all. The philosophy behind these now is OSHA rates these at 6,000 pounds per corner. I mean, corner is a corner right there when they're overlapped like that. So you're talking about 24,000 pounds on one crib. Car doesn't weigh nowhere near that. So these things will definitely support a car without falling at all. So we're going to go back over here. I'm going to show you what you need. Boom. You need, to build 2 cribs, you need 3 2x4s by 8. So get 8 foot long 2x4s. That's if you want to build what I built, which is 12 by 12 cribs. Reason I went with 12 by 12 cribs is because they would fit more tires that way than people building 10 by 14s or building bigger. If you got a big truck, of course, you might want to do that. You want the tire to sit in there deeper. This is primarily for all my hot rod style cars. So I built 12 by 12s. 12 by 12 seem to be the most versatile size you can use on multiple vehicles. So to build 2 of those cribs, you need 3 2x4x8s. Go to a local hardware store, get those. They run, you can get salt treated if they're going to stay outside. Mine's not going to stay outside, so you can get salt treated for about 10. You can get the cheap premiums for about $5 to $6, depending on where you're located. So these are run about $6.18 a piece. So you can pick them up local. I went to Lowe's, anywhere. So we got those. So we're gonna get to it. I'm gonna walk you through on what you need to do and how you need to stack them to get your inches out. To get the 12 inches that we have here, we have, it's funny how it works, but it's not really layers. But if you count from the side, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have 8 layers to get 12 inches. So let's get to it, guys. Show you how to do it, how to mark it off, and we'll get to cutting. Alright guys, so we're going to grab our first board, tape our tape measure, and we're going to measure out, oh, let me flip this around. We're going to measure out each foot. And we have an 8-foot board, so we're going to make 7 marks. Come through, at your ruler, just come through, make you a notch at each foot. Alright, so we got 7 marks, and we're going to get to cutting. And before you start cutting, make sure you take a T. I just use my tape measure to draw me a straight line for my cuts. Just come through. Just gonna make my line straight as possible. A T will get them even straighter. It's not really a need for it. It's not like we're building a house here. And we are overlapping these things, so the strength is going to be there. And, let's see, can we move this one this way? Alright, we got our marks. And get your saw set up. I'm going to run in the house and actually get some goggles or some safety glasses. Always make sure you use those when you're cutting wood. And we'll be right back. We'll start cutting this wood and we'll start assembling. Alright guys, so we're down on the ground, and you'll see why I'm on the ground instead of working on the trailer. But we got our drill, our screws, and I forgot to tell you, you're going to need a hammer. You only need a hammer for the first initial platform. So we got our pile of wood over here, so we're going to grab 2 of those, and then grab 2 more. And what we want to do, it's somewhat like a lattice effect. If you got any of these stragglers, my saw blade's probably about wore out. It probably ain't been used since 1962. But anyway, you want to lay those out, and you want to crisscross them just like that. And you want to put that one there. And you can use a T to tee this up. I just eyeball it. Just eyeball it. It's going to be pretty close, guys. So, alright. And this is the trick that most people get messed up on. You're going to grab you 2 screws. And when you do this, you're going to want to put a screw here, here. You want to put 2 in each corner. But when you do this, you want to make sure you remember how you put those screws. Meaning, when you lay your other set, you have to do the opposite, so your screws do not run into each other. They will run into each other if you put them all in the same spot because of the length that you're using. So, some people do recommend to pre-drill a hole. With the drill, I don't. It does keep your wood from splitting. So if you're using an impact driver, yes, drill you a pre-drill hole does help. But if you have a good drill that can drill it through without hammering it, it won't split your wood, is what I found in my situation. So we're gonna go to this upper left corner, and we're gonna start, and then we're just gonna go ahead and drive it all the way in. Alright, and like I said, remember guys, what corner you start in. So we're gonna go over here, start in this corner. And see, this is what I mean, guys, right here. Is, see how that wood split? I'm not really too much worried about it because I'm going to have multiple screws in here. But that is the reason you pre-drill. And I did do them on the other ones. But I don't run into that many where they split. So just don't go too far to the outside and you'll be alright. Alright, so we're going to go here and go crisscross from what you did first. And like I said, remember your pattern. Okay. Come over here. And this bit's about wore out from came in the pack with the screws. A lot of times you get the bit with the screws. A bit with the screws. And they're not that hard, so they will wear them out. Alright, so we got that one squared up there. And we're going to come over here and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start in the right corner. The outside corner. Outside upper corner to be exact. And like I said, make sure you don't go too far to the outside because it will split on you. Okay. And that's the biggest thing, guys. Just make sure you don't go too far to the outside because it will split like I did that other one. And you'll be fine. Alright, now you might still be wondering, why did he move down to the ground? Reason being, wow, pala. Your 3.5s come through. My fix to this is without buying another set of screws, because you do want 3.5s or maybe even 4s once you get past your first initial platform or crib. Is I just take a hammer, bend them over, and you ain't never got to worry about them coming out because you're kind of locking them in this way. Just something I do. You can buy 2 different sets of screws. I think it's a waste of money if you got a hammer and you know how to use it. And like I said, this ensures that they lock in. And they're screws, they're not going nowhere, so they're not like nails. Make sure that they don't break off like that one just did, because you don't want them getting left somewhere where they're going to get in the tire. But that's your first step. Then your next one is you're literally only going to need 2. So your first one is the only one that you need for these. Your next step is you're going to grab 2 more boards, and you're going to lay them opposite of what the other ones were. Now remember, we went from upper outside corner on the platform, or the first initial crib. So now we're going to go outside lower on every one to offset that. And when we offset that way our screws won't run into each other. Now, if you're running low on screws, you don't have to put 2 screws in all of these. I found that out to cut down on cost. You don't have to put 2 screws in every single one of them. Long as you put the screw central location of the center of each board, but just offset it each one, you'll be fine. And I'll show you how to do that. So, as you see, you got screw here, screw here, screw here, screw here. Same pattern pretty much. So what I would do for the next one is I would go screw here and screw here, screw here, screw here. And then you keep alternating every pattern that you put on. So once you've built that up, I'm not going to even video that because that's kind of boring. Once you get that, we'll come back and we'll show you the finished product. Build it up high as you want. Some people make 17-inch ones, but you need 8 layers to make a 12-inch. So we'll get this together, we'll come back, and we'll show you the finished product. Alright guys, so there you have it. That's one wheel crib fully assembled. Just got to put the remaining bolts, screws in the top 2, and that will be our 8 layers of 12 inches. Hey, very simple guys. If I can do it, and I'm not a carpenter, you guys can do it. Very safe compared to jack stands. Now, the only downfall to these is if you got to do wheel work, you are going to have to put some jack stands underneath your vehicle so you can let your wheels hang and take your wheels off. But other than that, this is the great alternative, especially if you want to get your car high like that. We out, guys. Peace out. Be safe. This video is dedicated to Hoss Felton, one of my great friends. Always believed in using jack stands, but God bless his soul, a car fell on him and took him away from us. So this is dedicated to him, and we're out, guys. Catch you later.